A big hello and welcome to all you fireballs out there. Welcome to the One by One show. I am Manoj, your host. Here is what today's show is all about. In the full stack corner, we will go over getting authentication set up easily for your new project by using either Supabase, Auth0, or Google's identity platform. And being the boss, I'll talk about what you can and should do for your next interview pitch with a new prospect or lead. In forms, I'll talk about why you shouldn't mess around with interfaces that are time tested and just work. In the script, I'll talk about why you shouldn't care about everyone while writing whatever it is you're trying to write. And then there are a bunch of other things in other segments. So let's get started. Let's start with the full stack corner. Yesterday, I ended up experimenting with setting up authentication while learning Remix Run. I was blown away by the simplicity of setting up an authentication system nowadays using third-party tools or services. These services come enterprise ready and often have a free tier, which is quite generous. I ended up pausing on Remix Run and started trying out all of the three services: Supabase, Auth0, and Google's identity platform to see what kind of effort was involved. The easiest and the most affordable solution turned out to be Supabase, with Auth0 coming in the last place in my rankings, simply because the quota in the free tier feels limited. Their service might be more geared towards enterprises or businesses, and the fact that Auth0 only offers you authentication, while Supabase offers you both authentication and a reliable backend for your projects. It goes one step further by offering you a complete UI for authentication if you're building within the JavaScript domain. Google's identity platform is a good choice too, though you will need to set up a billing account with them. Google's identity platform is a part of Google Cloud Services, and like AWS, they offer more than just authentication. If you're building a new side project, a small SaaS, or something similar, you can safely close your eyes and pick Supabase. Let us now move on to being the boss. Here is a tip for your freelancing journey. Show, do not tell. Keep yourself ready for whenever you have an interview or will deliver a pitch, textual or otherwise, by having some freshly made side projects or products ready to show off to your prospects or leads. Make sure the side projects or projects convey the correct message, which is that you are actively experimenting with whatever is new within your freelancing domain. The project or projects should also highlight your skills, know-how, and delivery. Let us talk about design in the forms segment. Are you trying out a new fancy layout? Don't. Most interface layouts today are filled in or stencil versions of layouts that have been time tested and are proven to get the job done. We are all creatures of habit. Most users online get turned off if your fancy layout differs from what they are habituated with. Unless your interface is an extension or an expression of art, stick with layouts that are the norm. If you want to play around, play with colors, typefaces or fonts, and content to make your interfaces stand out. Moving on, here is why you should not care about everyone while writing content or copywriting. Not everyone is and will be fond of your voice, opinions, or beliefs. This is just how we are all wired. No hard feelings and no offense taken. You cannot and should not write or create for everyone. Learn to ignore more. Let us switch gears and get onto the timeline. This week, a new issue of Indefinite Loop newsletter is going out. It will be full of content about the current state of everything created or in the works. This issue will also mark the restart of the newsletter series. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure to do so. We have changed segments again and are currently in a segment labeled The Way, a place where I speak about some opinionated philosophies. This past week has gone into introspecting a common Indian idiom and my acceptance of it. A very high percentage of Indians believe in Chalti ka naam gaadi. This roughly translates to running is the name of the car, which implies do not bother with it if it is working. Throughout my growing up, I have listened to and come across this statement several times, often thinking and concluding that doing things this way, that is not fixing things that do not affect the overall situation of something or some circumstance, is a laid back, lazy approach to everything. As I grow, I can safely and conclusively relate this idiom to going with the flow. I now understand that this statement does not mean what I took it for, and it does not translate to the context that I previously held within. The idiom's meaning lies in the context of letting things flow and accepting this flow of things, quote unquote. Replace things in the previous statement with whatever you did like or whatever you're going through and accept the journey you're on. Easier said than done. I understand that at some point you have to realize that control is an illusion. So let things flow the way they are supposed to. Moving on to timely thoughts, where I speak about some industry news and current affairs. Here is what caught my interest this last week. There was a Twitter outage this last Wednesday. No surprises here. What is surprising though is that Twitter will be charging for two-factor authentication via SMSs. Sometimes I think a more constrained, privacy-focused, and centralized social network can directly compete with Twitter now. I did sign up if there was an alternative solution to Twitter. In other news, Microsoft is limiting the Bing AI chat sessions. Bing chats are now capped at 50 questions a day and 5 per session or question. Everyone's talking about Google versus Bing, and I recently read something that made more sense with respect to this competition. Bing, with the help of ChatGPT and GPT-3 are more tailored towards asking questions based on a worldwide data set of content created on the internet. Google, on the other hand, provides a service that gets you what you're looking for via searching this content on the internet live instead of having subsets of it and learning from it. Two completely different products in my opinion. Lastly, I've been wondering if the current layoffs in the tech industry are a telltale for a bigger economic crisis coming up or a telltale for something else entirely. Alright, now let's talk about the current adventure of the hairy monkey. The hairy monkey part refers to me, obviously. Consistently practicing yoga while increasing the intensity is proving to be difficult. Going from one pose to another or repeatedly doing Surya Namaskars to see how many you can squeeze into an hour will test your patience and stamina. Choosing yoga is one of the ways I'm experimenting with chasing better naps and sleep. Where this goes, you'll hear it here when I know. And that is all for this week's episode. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next week.